Now it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Joseph René de Meulles and from the District 9, Fort Edmonton, Otip Imisawek, Métis Government Captain, to the lectern to hear your remarks.
Tansei. My name is Joseph René de Meulles, in all its French accent, so why am I speaking in English, right? Because I'm here today to speak about the perils of losing your language and the importance of funding those kinds of projects. Today I'm literally wearing the flag. You know, I don't see the Métis flag here actually, so it's okay, I'm wearing it. Our sashes are very interesting. This is actually the Métis flag sash I'm wearing today, and it's the oldest flag in Canadian history. Before the Canadian flag, there was the blue Métis flag, and a lot of people don't know that it's actually a nod to the Francophone community. Now, how did I lose my language? I feel I need to share a story, two stories in fact, one of my mother and one of my father. My mother was a Cree woman who grew up on the trap line in Cumberland House, Saskatchewan. And when they came to get the children for residential schools, they were out on the trap line and didn't get them. So she attended a day school. And she kept her language because of that. She went home every night and she still spoke Cree to her family, her siblings, her mother, her father. But she didn't continue this with her children. As a young man, I remember being bullied by some young Cree children, and they were speaking Cree, and I wanted to know what they were saying. I went home and asked my mom. I said, "Can you teach me Cree?" She said, "No." And I didn't understand where that came from. You know, I asked her again, and she said, "No, you're one of the lucky ones because you could pass as white." And she was made to feel shame when she spoke her language. She thought she was protecting us children, but at the same time, she was fulfilling the action of the teachings of the church. And so myself and all my siblings grew up without our Cree language. Now my father, nobody knew he was French other than our name was French, but he never spoke his language. And it's largely because he had no community to do so. You see, he left his home community and moved up to northern Manitoba and Churchill, and there was nobody there that could speak French. And so the only time we heard him speak French is when he was renovating our house. You know what I'm coming to. And he'd hit his thumb with a hammer and speak very colorfully in a French accent about something about the church. If you know, you know. So that was my father, but you know, he always imparted teachings on us. I remember as a young man, I had trouble with finances, and he said to me one day, he said, "I know about finances. My family invented money." I didn't think much of it. And then later on in life, I was vainly Googling my own name, and I come across a story on the Canadian Mint site about Jacques Demel. Jacques Demel was the first superintendent of New France. And when he arrived here, he didn't have enough money to pay the army through the winter. So what he did was he took playing cards and he assigned values to them and then issued a decree to everybody that this is now going to be legal tender. And it just opened up to me, like my dad did know his culture. He did know his history, you know, but he didn't share it because he didn't have the community to do so. He had nobody to sit with in conversation. So that's why I'm very thankful when the government puts money towards actually language. So my district is Fort Edmonton District 9 of the Otipemisiwak Métis government, which is formerly known as the Métis Nation of Alberta. And my region is everywhere north of the river. Right where this rotunda used to be was the Fort Edmonton. And that is the nod to our district. I have about 11,000 citizens, all grew up urban, without their culture, without a community, without their language. And so now I am tasked as the District 9 captain to make sure they have a place. And on Sunday we open our Métis Cultural Community Center, where we will have language classes starting in June. Our own language, well, Cree and Michif. Michif is a blending of languages, you know, the nouns being Cree and the verbs being Northern Michif would be Gaelic and Southern Michif would be French. And so I stand before you a perfect mixture of both cultures and a proud Métis man. And I thank you all for championing your language. It's so important to support community and our language and our culture and our heritage and all those things. So I thank you for listening today. Merci.
Thank you, Joseph, for your powerful testimony.